Hello, my name is Greg Reed. I'm the president of Real Assets here at Westwood. I'm looking forward to giving you a mid-year update on the energy infrastructure space, and we've had a great year to start so far. In terms of the month to date for June, we had a very strong month, up 7% for the Alerian Midstream Energy Infrastructure Index. And for the year-to-date period, we finished up 4.5% for the year. So it was obviously a very good month in June. That was principally a function of a rebound in crude oil prices, up about 3.7%, and also a nice rebound in natural gas prices, up about 23%. For the first half of the year, 7% return is actually nicely ahead of expectations. We were thinking, low double digit type returns. And at this point here, mid year, we're up about 7% or about 14% annualized. What's also notable is the MLP segment of the industry was up 4% in June and up 9.7% year to date. That's a function of lower valuations on the MLP portion of the market and also the unsolicited buyout by ONEOK of Magellan and MLP at a 22% premium. That has led to some additional speculation of other MLPs possibly might be takeover candidates. So anyway, altogether, it's been a very good year so far. What's really interesting to me is that we're seeing positive returns in the midstream energy sector up, basically 6 to 9% year to date, while crude oil prices are down 12% year to date, and natural gas prices are down 37%. So despite negative commodity prices, we're seeing strong returns in the midstream energy infrastructure space. We think that's a function of low valuations and improving fundamentals despite a little bit lower commodity prices. When we look at June by itself and dissect the three components, we have U.S. C Corps that were up about 9% for the month of June, led by Williams up 15.5%. And on the weaker side, generally saw positive numbers from Kinder Morgan up about 7%. The MLP average was up about 3.7% in June, led by Plains up 9% and Holly up about 8%. The only negative MLP was Genesis down 1%. And then the Canadians have typically lagged year to date. TransCanada or TRP was up 3% in June, but on the negative side, Gibson was down about 3%. So why are the Canadians lagging? I think it's a function of these companies being more utility-like, less exciting fundamental improvement, and typically higher levels of leverage in Enbridge and TransCanada, and that's something the market really does not want to see. And so those Canadian stocks are lagging on a year-to-date basis, which we'll see here in a second. So for the year to date, the C Corp average is up about 3.3%. That's led by E-Train up 50% year to date. You may recall they benefited from the Mountain Valley Pipeline finally being approved here mid-year, so that stock took off. Plains is also up 24% year to date with a very strong showing. On the negative side, EnLink is down about 12% year to date, so it wasn't everything up. It was a little bit of a mixed bag. On the MLP average, it was generally positive, up about 8.5% for the average MLP, led by Magellan that I mentioned earlier. They are the recipient of a takeover offer by ONEOK. They're up 29% year to date, and Plains is up 25% year to date. On the weaker end, CQP is down 15%. That is tied to Cheniere's main business, their Cheniere's MLP. And I think they're down mainly because of higher interest rates. It's more of a fee-based business. It's more interest rate sensitive. On the Canadian average, the average company is down about 1%. So they've lagged quite a bit year to date. On the positive side, Key is up about 6%. But several other companies, including Gibson, Pembina, and Enbridge, are all down 4 to 8%. So the Canadian stocks are certainly lagging quite a bit year to date. Two other things I wanted to mention in this monthly update. There's been a lot of questions coming into us about the ONEOK Magellan merger, and so we want to take a deeper dive look at the percentage of MLPs in the Alerian midstream indices. What we can see here on page 5 is that there's been a steady decline for the last 5 years of the MLP component of the industry coming down from 40% in 2018 down to only 29% today. And when the Magellan deal closes, which we expect it will close in the second half of this year, we think the MLP component of the midstream energy infrastructure industry will drop to about 27%. That's really significant because 10 years ago, MLPs were about 62% of the investable universe. What that means is the energy infrastructure market has really transitioned over the past 10 years, but in the last 5 years especially, from more of an MLP centric industry to a C Corp centric industry, with C Corps now accounting for over 70% of the midstream space. Another really important topic and a source of many questions is a discussion about C Corp mutual fund structures. The most popular ETF, AMLP, uses a C Corp blocker structure to invest in MLPs. That was really important back in 2010 when MLPs were most of the industry, but now MLPs are only 27% of the midstream industry. And what that means is this C Corp blocker structure is an extra tax drag for investors. And so we took a look at the historical performance, and what you see is pretty shocking. The index, the Alerian Midstream Infrastructure Index, was up about 5% annualized, 88% total return. But when you wrap the MLP structure with a C Corp tax mutual fund, it literally costs about 50% of the return stream to C Corp taxes. So the end result is investors only made 2.7% annualized and 40% compounded. So basically, half of the return of the index got eaten up by C Corp taxes. And so the natural thing investors are asking is, well, how do I get rid of that C Corp tax? And the answer is you have to move from a C Corp mutual fund structure to a RIC mutual fund structure, which caps the MLP ownership at 25%. And the reason why that's a good move is because looking back at page 5, MLPs only account for basically, 29% of the market today. Therefore, the RIC structure is really the best structure in the industry today. That was not the case 10 or 12 years ago, but today is clearly the case. So I hope that's helpful. We're getting a lot of questions about C Corp taxes and the drag on performance, and we wanted to try to quantify that in this month's update. So if you have any questions, please reach out to your Westwood contact, and we're happy to go into more detail if you want more details on this topic. Thank you very much and have a great summer.